Imagine being locked away for 27 years. Not for a crime, but for fighting for justice. 27 long years, your youth, your dreams, your family, everything slipping away behind cold prison walls. Most people would emerge broken, angry, seeking revenge. But not Nelson Mandela. He walked out of prison with his head held high, not just as a free man, but as a symbol of forgiveness, unity, and hope. The man who had every reason to hate chose instead to heal. Why? How does someone endure nearly 3 decades of suffering and still choose love over resentment? How does a man, once labeled a terrorist, become a global icon of peace? This is not just the story of a political leader. This is the story of a man who proved that resilience is not just about survival, it's about transformation. A man who showed the world that even in the face of unimaginable oppression, we always have a choice: to be bitter or to be better. Today, we dive deep into the life of Nelson Mandela, the man who sacrificed everything for freedom, endured decades of hardship, and yet, when the world expected him to seek vengeance, he did the unthinkable. He forgave. Stay with me as we unravel the untold struggles, the defining moments, and the powerful lessons from one of the greatest leaders of our time. Because Mandela's story is not just history, it's a roadmap for every single one of us searching for strength, purpose, and the courage to let go of the past. To truly understand Nelson Mandela's journey, we must step back in time, to a South Africa where the color of your skin determined your worth. For decades, the country was ruled by apartheid, a brutal system of racial segregation enforced by the white minority government. Black South Africans were stripped of their rights, forced to live in separate areas, denied quality education, and even forbidden from walking on certain streets. They were treated as second-class citizens in their own land. Mandela was born in 1918 in the small village of Mvezo. He came from a royal bloodline of the Thembu people, but even that couldn't shield him from the harsh realities of colonial rule. As a young man, he witnessed the deep injustices of apartheid firsthand. Families torn apart, people beaten for simply demanding equality, and laws designed to keep the black majority powerless. But he refused to accept this as his fate. Inspired by leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Mandela joined the African National Congress, ANC, in his 20s, dedicating his life to dismantling apartheid. At first, he believed in peaceful protest, marches, strikes, and petitions to demand justice. But the government responded with violence, arresting activists, banning political organizations, and silencing voices that spoke out against oppression. Then came the turning point, the Sharpeville Massacre of 1960. On March 21st, thousands of black South Africans gathered in peaceful protest against apartheid laws. But instead of listening, the police opened fire on unarmed civilians, killing 69 people, many shot in the back while trying to flee. That was the day Mandela made a painful realization. The oppressors would never listen to words alone. In response, he co-founded Umkhonto we Sizwe, the armed wing of the ANC, believing that nonviolence alone was no longer enough. He didn't seek bloodshed, he sought freedom. But in 1962, he was arrested and sentenced to life in prison for conspiracy against the state. And so began his 27-year imprisonment, a period that would test the limits of his spirit, his beliefs, and his very identity. The world moved on while Mandela sat in a small windowless cell on Robben Island. He was forced into hard labor, breaking rocks under the scorching sun. He was allowed one visitor every 6 months and one letter every year. The government hoped he would be forgotten, that his spirit would break. But what happened next was something no one, especially his oppressors, saw coming. Because Mandela wasn't just surviving, he was preparing. For most, a prison sentence is the end of the road, a slow death of dreams, identity, and purpose. But for Nelson Mandela, prison was his crucible, a place where he refined his patience, sharpened his mind, and prepared for a future that even he couldn't fully see yet. His days on Robben Island were filled with relentless hardship. He woke at dawn, ate meager rations, and spent hours under the sun, crushing limestone into dust. The glare from the white stones was so intense that it permanently damaged his eyesight. He slept on a thin mat on a cold concrete floor. His only possessions: a bucket, a table, and a few books. Yet, his spirit never cracked. Instead of allowing prison to break him, Mandela turned it into his university. He and his fellow political prisoners secretly taught each other history, law, and philosophy, calling it the Robben Island University. They debated strategies for freedom. They shared their knowledge so that if they ever walked free, they would be ready to rebuild their nation. But the most remarkable transformation wasn't intellectual, it was emotional. Mandela entered prison as an angry young revolutionary. He had spent years fighting apartheid, often viewing his oppressors as inhuman monsters. But in prison, something changed. He began studying his enemy, not with hatred, but with curiosity. He learned Afrikaans, the language of the white prison guards. He observed their fears, their beliefs, their weaknesses. Slowly, he realized something profound. If he wanted to defeat his oppressors, he had to understand them first. One of the most defining moments came with a simple act: a cup of tea. The prison guards treated Mandela and the other black prisoners with cruelty, calling them by numbers instead of names, beating them over small infractions. But Mandela, instead of retaliating, began engaging with them. He asked about their families. He learned their stories. And then, one day, he did something unimaginable. He invited one of the guards to share a cup of tea with him. At first, the guard refused. A white man sitting with a black prisoner? Impossible. But Mandela persisted, and over time, small cracks formed in the walls of hate. Mandela understood a lesson few ever learn. To change a system, you must change hearts first. And so, as the years passed, Mandela's reputation grew beyond the prison walls. The world began to notice the injustice. Protests erupted across South Africa. International pressure mounted. The anti-apartheid movement gained strength. And all the while, Mandela waited, watching, listening, preparing. Then came the moment that changed everything. The fall of apartheid was near, and Mandela would soon face his greatest test yet. By the late 1980s, the walls of apartheid were beginning to crack. The world was watching. Economic sanctions strangled South Africa's economy, and mass protests made it clear change was inevitable. But the apartheid government had one last card to play: Nelson Mandela. For decades, they had painted him as a terrorist, a dangerous radical who would incite chaos if freed. But now they feared something even greater: his power as a symbol of unity. In 1985, South African President P.W. Botha offered Mandela a deal: freedom on one condition: he must publicly renounce violence. Mandela's response: what freedom am I being offered while the organization of the people remains banned? Only free men can negotiate. A prisoner cannot enter into contracts. He refused, because freedom with conditions wasn't freedom at all. But in 1989, a new leader came to power, F.W. de Klerk. Unlike his predecessors, de Klerk saw the writing on the wall. Apartheid was no longer sustainable. Mandela had to be released. And so, on February 11th, 1990, after 27 years, the gates of Victor Verster prison opened. The world held its breath. Would he emerge as an old man filled with rage? Would he call for revenge? Would South Africa spiral into civil war? Instead, Mandela did the unthinkable. As he walked out, raising his fist in defiance, his first words weren't about anger. They were about peace. He called for reconciliation, not retaliation. But the hardest test was yet to come. Mandela knew that South Africa was on the brink of bloodshed. The black majority had suffered for decades, and many were ready to take up arms. On the other side, white South Africans feared a violent uprising. One wrong move, and the country would collapse into civil war. He had every right to be bitter, every right to call for retribution, but instead he chose forgiveness. He invited his former jailers to his inauguration as South Africa's first black president. He stood side by side with the very men who once sought to silence him. He even had tea with Betsy Verwoerd, the widow of Hendrik Verwoerd, the architect of apartheid. When asked why, he simply said, "If you want to make peace with your enemy, you have to work with your enemy. Then he becomes your partner." His message was clear. South Africa didn't need more hatred, it needed healing. But this didn't mean Mandela was weak. He held firm against those who wanted to derail reconciliation. When his own supporters pushed for vengeance, he stood his ground, and his leadership changed the course of history. By 1994, apartheid was officially dismantled, and South Africa held its first free election. Mandela won, not just as a president, but as a symbol of what is possible when courage meets compassion. But how did he do it? How did a man endure nearly 3 decades in prison and walk out with an open heart? That's what we'll explore next. The powerful lessons from Mandela's life that we can all apply to our own struggles. Nelson. Mandela's journey wasn't just about politics, it was about the power of the human spirit. His life holds lessons that can transform how we handle struggles, setbacks, and even the people who wrong us. So, what can we learn from Mandela's resilience? 1. You are not your circumstances. Imagine spending 27 years in a prison cell. Most would lose hope, but Mandela didn't let his environment define him. Instead, he used prison as a place of preparation. Life will put us in difficult situations, failure, rejection, loss. But remember this, you are not what happens to you. You are how you respond to it. Mandela's lesson. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking, "How can I grow from this?" Every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen your mind and character. 2. Master your emotions, or they will master you. Mandela had every reason to be angry. He was robbed of his freedom, separated from his family, and treated like a criminal for demanding basic human rights. But he understood something most people never realize. Anger is easy. Discipline is power. Instead of being controlled by hatred, he used his years in prison to cultivate patience, empathy, and emotional intelligence. He refused to let bitterness consume him. Mandela's lesson. When faced with betrayal, injustice, or failure, take a step back. Pause, breathe, respond wisely. The strongest people aren't those who lash out, but those who stay calm under pressure. 3. Forgiveness is a weapon, not a weakness. One of Mandela's most famous quotes is, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." Holding on to anger doesn't punish your enemies, it punishes you. It keeps you stuck in the past while your oppressors move on. Mandela chose forgiveness not because his enemies deserved it, but because he refused to be their prisoner, physically or mentally. Mandela's lesson. If you've been wronged, ask yourself, is holding on to this anger helping me? Or is it holding me back? Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means refusing to let pain control your future. 4. Great leaders listen more than they speak. Mandela didn't just fight for freedom, he understood people. He learned Afrikaans, the language of his enemies, because he knew understanding is the first step to change. In today's world, we argue, we fight, we cancel. But how often do we listen? Mandela's lesson. If you want to change someone's mind, start by understanding them first. Ask questions. Listen. Find common ground. That's how true change begins. 5. Never stop learning. Even in the darkest times, Mandela turned prison into a university. He read, he studied, he debated. He knew that knowledge was the most powerful weapon against oppression. Whatever you're going through right now, ask yourself, am I learning from this? Because even in struggle, there's always something to gain. Mandela's lesson: never stop growing. Read books, learn from your failures, turn setbacks into stepping stones. Because knowledge is the foundation of real freedom. Your Mandela moment. What will you do? We all face struggles. Maybe you've been hurt by someone. Maybe you feel stuck in a situation beyond your control. Maybe life has dealt you a hand that feels unfair. But if Nelson Mandela could endure 27 years of injustice and walk out stronger, then so can you. The question is, will you let your past define you, or will you define your future? Because just like Mandela, you have a choice. Nelson Mandela's story isn't just history, it's a reminder. A reminder that no matter how deep the suffering, how unfair the circumstances, or how impossible the challenge, we always have a choice. Mandela's choice was forgiveness over vengeance, patience over anger, unity over division, and that's what made him legendary. His 27 years in prison didn't weaken him, they prepared him. His struggles didn't destroy him, they shaped him. And in the end, he didn't just free himself, he freed a nation. But now the real question is, what will you do with your struggles? Maybe you've been wronged, maybe you're stuck in a place that feels like a prison, whether it's a toxic relationship, a dead-end job, or self-doubt weighing you down. But here's the truth. Your past doesn't define you. Your response does. Mandela once said, "Do not judge me by my successes. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again." So today, take a step forward. Let go of resentment. Choose growth. Because like Mandela, you have the power to rewrite your story. And if he could walk out of prison a free man in his heart before he was ever free in the world, then so can you. What's your takeaway? Which lesson from Mandela's life resonates with you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want more powerful stories of resilience and transformation, hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning. Stay inspired, stay unbreakable,